I mean, you've had a week off. What have you been up to? What have the boys been doing getting ready for Catalan?
Yeah, obviously, Challenge Cup final week, which was close to our heart, the last week that we had the trophy in our hands. So, a bit of an emotional week for me, and no doubt the fans and the players, but it was also an opportunity for some downtime for the players. So, a couple of days off over that weekend, but back into it now, and a really tough period, right in the middle of a tough period where we've got a few away games. So, Catalan away, and then Leeds away, and then the international weekend, then Wigan away. So we're right in the middle of all of that. But I think our last performance against Hull KR, we didn't quite get the attack on that we wanted to. Although in review we saw that we had 6 chances to score there. So I'm in a decent place at the moment because of the way that we've been defending. To go up to Hull there and only allow 12 points in, we probably should have been in a position to win the game. But we've got to maintain those standards moving forward.
But when you look at your squad, then has this break enabled you to get players fit and back, and who would those be?
I think a couple of players that are in contention for this week will be Matty Davis back in contention. Also brings Gaz O'Brien back into contention, and we're getting closer to say the likes of I think Mulhern and John Asiata will probably be closer to Leeds or the Wigan game. So, 2 new faces back this week.
There's been speculation on the internet about the signing of David Armstrong from Newcastle Knights, 23-year-old fullback. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, just on that, Trev, it's just policy, club policy, that we don't discuss those sort of rumours or let's say speculation about players that are linked to our club. It's something that Chris Chester is driving at the moment, and if there's any further information to add, I'm sure that we'll let anyone else know outside of here as soon as that happens. But for me, it's just about making sure we focus on what's in front of us.
Yeah, well, just on that though, is the club fully active, looking for players for
absolutely.
next campaign?
Always. There's going to be a few players. It's probably quite well known now that there's a few players that are leaving at the club. So whether that's in place or it's on a day-to-day basis for me and the club, we're always talking and communicating in the sense of retention and recruitment. It's always ongoing.
So Catalan away next week. You've been close.
Yeah.
But then again, not quite close enough. So how do you view Catalan away? It's a totally different prospect to playing Wigan or Leeds or anybody like that.
Yeah, they're a big club, big team, big players in their side, and we had a reasonably good victory here against them only about 5 weeks ago. So they would have been hurting from that, and no doubt that we'll want to send a different message and a different performance against us this weekend. We've always gone there and have been in the games right up until the very end, and I felt that we probably should have won that game there last year. It was a weird old one where they led by 20 points in the first 20 minutes. We pinned them back to lead by half time, and then led with 10 minutes to go, and they got up like a half an intercept try to secure the game. So we're going to go there with a team that's a confident team playing for each other, and our standards are high at the moment, and I know that they're going to be wanting to win. It's an important game for them to start at the top of the table there, but I think it's more important for us at the moment. We need to keep winning at the moment too.
Going over to the south of France though, hot temperatures, how much difference is your approach to a game in Catalan than it must be when you're even going to Hull?
Yeah, it's always different, and it's a 7:30 wake up at home here, and head on the road really, arriving to the hotel around 6 p.m. So it's a 10 to 12 hour day of travelling. So we're leaving tomorrow on Wednesday, which is just to make sure that we give ourselves a chance to recoup from the travel. Then we've got a couple of days there, and we need to nail that 80-minute performance on Saturday. So, I feel that the training that we've had over the last 2 weeks has certainly settled the team and got a lot more reps in with the 2 new boys coming in. So at some point, I'm hoping that we get that great 80-minute performance.
And what do you expect of Catalan, and who do you see as their key players?
Yeah, I think they've had a few injuries themselves over the last month of rugby, and they've chopped and changed their halves. So they've had a lot of new faces coming at different positions and people playing out of positions. So I think the team that they settle with will be a team that's a big, powerful forward pack, which is what they're known for. I think they'll play a power game against us in front of a home crowd. The conditions hopefully being hot. For them, their thoughts will be around that. So I can't see it anything but a real physical, tough, power forward game.
I've been reading, just before I join you, an article saying that Catalan were refusing to sell any more tickets to Lee fans in case you turned it into what felt like a Lee home game. What do you feel about that?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Great publicity, but also great on our fans, on behalf of our fans. What an unbelievable achievement if we can get that many people there to travel over and support us. And they've always been great, and that's why we love them so much. And it'll be a great opportunity for them to come and support us. I think another reason for us to go there and play well in front of them. But if we can be as hostile and make it a home game advantage, it'd be handy. But again, it'll be a great afternoon.
So just final question for me then. You've got obviously a tough set of fixtures coming up. Catalan, Leeds, Wigan, all the way. I know the top six is in your sights. How do you approach each of these games? One at a time, or with a view to the ultimate goal? Yeah,
there's a bit of a long-term goal, a medium-term goal, and the week-to-week short-term goal. So obviously, where we sit on the ladder, we don't have much room for poor performances. So we put a lot of focus around how do we play our best rugby now moving forward. Like I said, a couple of key players will be back in the next 2 or 3 weeks, which will help us. But we've got to find a way to win the games, which we've done at separate parts over the last month of rugby too. I think we'd won 5 weeks in a row. We hadn't been beaten until the Hull KR game. So we're on the right track. We've just got to keep looking for improvement and take each team differently on a week-to-week basis, because they all play different styles of rugby too. So that's a challenge for the coaching staff. I think we can use this week as a first week to certainly get back into our groove.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Adrian, and best of luck on the weekend.
Thanks, Trev. Appreciate it.
Hi, Lama. Hope you're well.
Hi, mate. Good.
Good. Just on Robbie Malone, you said he could be back next week. Is that a little bit ahead of schedule, or maybe ahead of where you sort of worst fears were with him? Because you were a little bit downbeat when you first found out the news, weren't you?
Yeah, that's true. The strain tear on the calf came back at the lowest grade of that. So that was, instead of an 8 week, it's probably 4 or 5. So that's a positive for us. Now, whether we feel that he's going to be right for Leeds, or if we let that go and then go into that international weeks, it gives us another 2 weeks after that to be 100% certain. So he's probably more likely to be Wigan. Same with John, probably, but both around the same mentality with what's been happening there.
I mean, Robbie in particular, you really got into a groove, didn't you, when he got back? It'll be a big boost to getting back sooner rather than later. Yeah,
absolutely. And every player that's come back from injury has certainly lifted the team. But Robbie, with both him and John last year, I think that if we can just knock off each week, this week and Leeds week, albeit they're very difficult games, and it could go the complete opposite way. But what we're working really hard on is making sure we have a consistent performance there. And then when those two players come back, they're probably as influential as any forward in any team in the competition, and that's how important they are to us. So, we're looking forward to them coming back in, but we're powering on without them because we need to. And if we can get that done, we'll just be so much better when they do pop back in the team in a couple of weeks.
With Gaz O'Brien, obviously Matty Moylan's been going really, really well at fullback. Yeah. How do you sort of integrate Gaz back into the team? What's the thinking there?
Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of thinking about how we settle on that, or whether we swap them at positions at times, or what. I think I'm with you. I think Matty's done a really good job there at fullback, but Gaz has been there with the reps over the last 2 years. So it's a difficult one. We'll probably make that decision on the morning of the game, and then settle with that moving forward. Whatever's best for the team.
What I know you mentioned recovering from the travel, but what's the thinking behind going 3 days before the game? I mean, I think you did it last year, didn't you, as well? Yeah. Is that something you prefer, just to be out there and get settled?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I think with that travelling being such a long day, it's a 10 to 12 hour travel from the time you wake up to the time you put your head down, or you arrive at your room in France, it's a long day, So if you do it the same day or the day before, a bit of fatigue can set in with all of that, dehydration, everything involved with making sure that we're optimum. We're making sure that that's the case. So we feel that if we can get there same day on Wednesday, and then a little bit of flush day Thursday into our captain's run Friday, that will give us our best chance. And I think most clubs are doing that now at the moment. So, but it's a massive. I know it's a big week for Catalan that they've promoted really well, but it's a massive week for us in the sense of the ladder and the season.
Yeah, I mean, we're into the second, after the cup final, we're into the second half of the season now. It's imperative to hit the ground running, isn't it? Because you've got gap, you've got ground to make up, you need to start winning games. Yeah,
exactly right, and we will. I'm confident that we will. I've got a good squad here that I know that when everyone's on fit and on board, that we can win every week if we have to and we need to. So, we've just got to make sure that we get those reps in with all of the players and find a way to get that belief and trust back into the group. It's already there, but when you win one and win two and some of the bigger games as well, you can build confidence really really quickly and get on a roll, and that's what we need to do. So there's a lot of coaching that needs to be done in between now and the next 6 weeks to make sure we get that right, and there's been a lot of hard work in there. So fingers crossed that we get the rewards that we deserve.
Just lastly, I know Trevor asked about Armstrong, but obviously Penne's been heavily rumoured as well. Is there anything you can say on that, or is it still very much the same?
No, it's very much very similar. As a club, our policy is not to comment on players that are supposedly coming to our club or leaving until the end of the season. So we'll just keep it at that. But like I said, if there's anything that progresses forward with any news on retention or recruitment, we'll let the media know as soon as possible.
Well, cheers, Lammy. Good luck this weekend.
All right, guys. Thanks for that.
Hi Adrian, how are you doing?
Callum, good. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just a quick one from me, please. Do you think you're better suited to deal with, that overhaul at the end of the season because of the state of the club when you first joined?
I think with the players that we know are leaving at the moment, we have to be on the front foot in the sense of our retention and recruitment moving forward. And there is a plan. There is some thought process around how we want to look as a club and team moving forward. What does that look like? There's a lot of information, a lot of communication that goes on to getting to the final outcome of how we're going to look next year. So pretty excited about that, to be honest with you. Really, really excited. And that's why, I agreed to be here, because I feel that there are good times ahead. And it's, from the first day that I turned up, I think there was 6 players at training, and we've brought in around between 10 and 15 players each year to rotate the squad to what it needs to be, and that probably won't change again next year. And the hard part is you've got to keep starting again with all of the standards that you set in the club and the DNA and the culture that you build. That's the hard part, and that takes time. But we're in it for the long haul here. We've got to make sure that that we're a club that fits the style of rugby that we want to play, but also that the fans are happy to represent. They've had a pretty good go over the last 2 or 3 years, the fans, and I can't see it being any different this for the rest of this year and every year after this. So pretty excited with what's ahead.